Hello everybody, and I'm just here to share with you my journey, really, over the last 5 years, but in particularly, my journey over the last 2 years. So just to tell you a little bit about my background is in the corporate world. So I worked for Lloyds TSB Insurance, and I was there for 9 years for my sins. And I was one of those ladies trying to climb that corporate ladder because I wanted to feel successful. And I always thought that if I felt successful, I'd feel happy. But it didn't work like that for me, unfortunately. And I don't think it really works like that for a lot of people, in all fairness. Because all that happened to me was lots of stress came my way. I ended up very, very unhappy. I was spending more time with my boss than I was my family, so there was definitely something wrong there. So I was looking for a change, and luckily for me, I knew what I wanted. I knew I wanted to be my own boss. I knew I wanted security, and I also knew that I wanted the flexibility that was going to come with that. So it was just about finding it. So I came across Forever, and I immediately saw that this was what was going to get me out of the rat race and provide me with everything that I was looking for and more. So I started my business. I've got to think about clickers and everything now. So I started my business in January 2010. I haven't looked back since, but it hasn't been plain sailing. You see, I was a little bit of a slow burner in my business, and it was mainly because I didn't believe in myself. And I didn't think that stuff like that would happen to people like me, which is really ironic, because the reason that I'd started my business was because I saw all the things that I wanted to achieve, but now I was doubting that I could achieve them. So that's where the self-sabotage came in. And when the self-sabotage happens, that's where the excuses come in, because it's easier to make excuses as to why you're not moving forward instead of coming outside of your comfort zone and doing what you needed to do, and that's where I was. I believe one of the reasons that this was too is because I had no goals that I was emotionally connected to. I, the same as most, I wasn't used to setting goals, so I just thought if I didn't set them, that I didn't have to set myself up for failure. You see, I had the complete wrong mindset, and I know that there'll probably be people here today who have that mindset too. You know, I wanted it so much, but I was so scared as well. I was scared of rejection and what people thought, and actually scared of failing. So when I started my business, I fell in love with the products. I had amazing benefits from them, so that bit was really easy. So I just recommended them. And in the July 2010, 2 things happened to me. One, somebody asked me to join my team, and I was so shocked. I literally went, well, it's 200 quid, mind? She said, I know, I really want to join your team. So I thought, oh, I don't quite know what to do now. And then I had a moment where I thought, actually, I should really be asking her to join my team. That's a little bit of the wrong way round. The other thing that happened, that Sunday, the amazing Cora McEwen, who is the woman responsible for giving me my light bulb moment, she was a guest speaker on Natalie's conference call. And Cora was talking about taking responsibility, speaking to 5 people a day, getting 3 to 5 one-to-ones in the diary a week, and if it's going to be, it's up to me mindset. And then it clicked. You know, I wasn't doing enough. I didn't believe in myself, but that was okay. I just trusted what had been said, so I just followed the advice that I was given. And then something that happened that made me click in the May 2011, because I kind of bumbled along in my business until that point. And what happened was I was due to be married in the August. And 3 months before my wedding day, I'd found out that my partner had been playing away. More fool him now. And and now I'm marrying another amazing man in July, so that's exciting. He wasn't amazing, so I say another amazing. No, an amazing guy. And so what happened was I had a choice to make at that time, and it was, do I waste any more of my business and future making excuses, or do I put all of this emotion and hurt and energy that I was feeling into creating a new life for myself? So that's the moment that I had decided to decide. So August was going to be the month that I was going to be a manager, not the month that I was due to be married. So it was going to represent the start of my new, exciting life. And then that's when I really connected, and I really understood the emotional connecting to your goals. And I just did whatever it took. So it was just like a laser-like focus, and I couldn't see either side what was happening inside of me, just the fact that August, whenever I look back in my life, was always going to be the month that I started my new exciting life, not the negative. But then I made the biggest mistake. I became manager in the August, but then I became complacent again, and I lost my mindset and my belief again, because I wasn't around like-minded people and my business suffered. So it was time to get serious. And I remember the goal that really made me kick into action, and as soon as I thought of it, I burst into tears. And it's that I love my 2 nephews so, so much. And I wanted to take them to Lapland. Still happens. So every time I thought about it, and thought about them going to Lapland to see Father Christmas that Auntie Jew had achieved for them, it just made me burst into tears. So I was emotionally connected again. And then in this process of stepping up, I realized lots of things. So I was blaming my team for my lack of success. How dare I, actually? I needed to take responsibility for my business and lead from the front and step up. So I decided that instead of doing 4 case credits per month, I'll do 6 to 8 case credits per month. And I'll teach that to the team. So this is where the volume really, really started to increase. And by accident, one month, I did 10 case credits. So that's what I strive for now, is 10 case credits minimum a month, personal. You see, 4 case credits is the only requirement that the company asks of us. So if you're doing the activity, it's really, really easy, actually. It's only hard when you're not doing the activity. So don't be average and just do 4 case credits. Do more. And, as soon as you recruit somebody into your team, you will become a leader. So your team will do what you do. So if you're doing 6 to 8 case credits per month, your team will also follow you and do 6 to 8 case credits too. The other thing that I changed is that now I have all my new team members focused on manager from the get-go, which means that they duplicate that now down into their team. So we focus on 6 to 8 personal case credits every month. We don't even mention 4 case credits. We just expect 6 to 8. And you see, what you need to remember, this took me really, really a long time. It took me ages. And it's that you are the leader. And they know no different. So you are setting the pace, and they will work towards it. Never ever think that somebody can't do something. You always tell them that they can. They need you to believe in them, and never judge somebody else's ability on your own ability or your own pace of achieving, because that's what held me back for a while. I'm not stood here today because of what I've done. I'm stood here because of my incredible team. They are just absolutely amazing. And what inspires me is that they caught the vision that I caught, and they weren't afraid to join me in making it happen. And I'm incredibly proud of every single person in my team for fighting towards their dreams and making them come true. It's so inspiring to watch and be part of their journey. So I have to give a huge round of applause to all of my team. Thank you so much. Because without you, I wouldn't be stood here. You see, it's all about urgency and momentum, and I believe that because I've carried on working as hard as ever for the last 2 years, at the same pace, the momentum has kicked in. So what's happening now is actually due to the work that I did 2 years ago. And it's really, is 2 to 3 years working hard worth it for the life that I'm living now? Absolutely it is. So what keeps me going now is in the next couple of years, well, actually, I say next couple of years, it's going to be as soon as April, actually, is that I'm going to be buying my mum's house, and then what she can do, I can help retire my mum so she can have the most important thing back, is time. And then we're going to build her a house on the plot of land that we're purchasing to build. so I'm going to be able to pay my mum's income for her so she can retire and live her dreams. My dad's going to have his Aston Martin before he's 60, which he never thought that he'd be able to do, but I can make that happen for him. You see, the reason why not my forever dad, your dad, the dad. So you see, the reason why I do this business is for my family and creating memories and just giving back to them for always being there and supporting me through my whole life. So that's what makes me work really, really hard. So you have to think about what's going to make you really hard and work really hard, and what's going to make you do something that you've never done to have something that you've never had. So all of that sounds good, but what did I actually do to turn my business around? So I learned to let other people believe in me until I was done believing in myself. And I have to say a huge thank you to every person that's had an impact on me and my development throughout my business. There are so many people that I could thank. It's just going to be impossible to thank them all. But I have to say a huge thank you to every one of them. And also Natalie Healy, because all of her support and guidance and belief in me through my journey. And for continuing to still believe in me now, even though I still have moments of doubt. Also the incredible Dave O'Connor. So this guy has totally transformed me into the person that I wanted to be, and have the mindset and the belief in others too. That's what he's really taught me. So without those two, I really don't know where I would have been. I learned to believe in myself, and I learned to believe in others. And I believe that mindset and the right self-talk is half the battle with this business. That mixed with hard work, determination, a willingness to do whatever it takes, and to succeed is what you need. You see, success is actually easy, but it's also easier not to do the things that you need to do to become successful. So I identified where my development areas were, and I went to seek out all the information to become better. And one of my areas that I believe let me down was planning, and planning others. And one of the main reasons was because of my lack of belief in others and myself. But when I identified that, I was able to go to work on myself and do the work that I needed to do. The other thing is that I stopped comparing myself with other people. What were they doing? What were they achieving quick and that I wasn't? You know, I was spending more time trying to do what other people were doing and copying them instead of coming into my own and being the best version of me that I could be. I got to learn that I'll never be the best copycat of someone, but I could always be the best me. So I really started to find my own way, and I did a lot of work on my leadership skills, learning different personality types, and able to just be able to get the best out of people. I also took myself off the agenda, and what I mean by that is I had my own goals I wanted to achieve, and other people might not want what I wanted. So instead of thinking, how is this person going to help me achieve my goals, I changed my thinking into, how am I going to help this person achieve their goals? I decided to have a plan and stick to it. So I went through a bit of a sponsoring drought at the beginning of 2012, and I blamed everybody else for my lack of success. So I took responsibility. I sat down, I looked at what activity I was doing, and the reality was I seriously wasn't doing anything, not even a little bit. So I thought that because I was sat in Costa Coffee every single day, drinking coffee and eating cake, that I was doing work. But it's only work if you actually do the activity, not sit there drinking coffee all day, spending more money and getting bigger by eating cakes. So I got serious, and I knew that I needed to be recruiting 3 to 5 people per month. So I put a plan in place, and I worked it. I got to know my stats, which was really important, and I'd never used my who do you know list, because if I'm honest, I was embarrassed. This is awful. Embarrassed about inviting people to sell soap. What a bad attitude is that? You know, I had an awful attitude. And I didn't believe in the business. I didn't believe in myself. So that was showing in my results. You know, a bad attitude is like a flat tire. You can't go anywhere unless you change it. So I was really honest with myself. And I changed my attitude. And I started again as if I was a new assistant supervisor. So I was doing my activity daily, getting 5 pieces of information out a day, and knowing my stats. What it meant was that I had 3 to 5, to recruit 3 to 5 people a month. So to do that, I needed 3 to 5 one-to-ones in the diary a week. So you your stats might be a little bit different to mine, but when you keep an eye on your stats, it means that you can keep up with how they change and you can plan effectively for it. But what's important is that you find an avenue of activity that works for you and works well for you. So you have to try all sorts of things because everybody is different. So how did I do that? I just visualized a lot. I was very consistent. I was very persistent. I sponsored regularly. I knew my stats, like I said. You have to know your stats. I stuck to my plan. I got 5 pieces of information out a day, and I never ever made excuses. You know, what's become apparent to me is the harder you work, the more that you achieve. So I don't treat my business like a part-time business. I don't work 10 to 15 hours per week. You know, I sometimes work 10 to 15 hours per day. And, you know, when I was working 10 to 15 hours a week, that was great. I was earning, you know, around about £700–800 per month. And don't get me wrong, working those hours, you will probably get all you want to achieve, but it just might take you a little bit longer. I only worked my business hard in the last 2 years, and I think that that's what's given me the results now, because it's been a consistent hard work over the 2 years, not what I've been doing in the last 2 months. You see, it's the compound effect, and it's taken over. So when you get that momentum and you continue to be consistent, that is where the magic happens. So 2 books that really, really helped me as well along my journey was Darren Hardy, The Compound Effect, and The Slight Edge by Jeff Goldblum. And never make excuses. You can make excuses or you can make money, but you can't make both. I took complete responsibility for my team and started creating leaders, but first I became somebody that I wanted to follow. So what did I start to do? I started to do my own team sizzles instead of hiding behind other people. I introduced some online trainings. I became a student. I learned how to plan effectively. I learned how to set goals. I learned to do the planning meeting within 48 hours, something so simple, but I never did it. I followed the simple system, I kept it simple, and I just worked with those who really wanted it. You know, I got to learn as well that you really can have it all if you take the goal setting seriously, emotionally connect to your goals, let somebody believe in you, attend trainings, be persistent and consistent, be above average, and do whatever it takes. Because there's nothing special about me. If I can do it, then I know that anybody can. So this message is basically, if you have just started your business today, or you started over a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, it really doesn't matter. Draw a line in the sand and start again, because that is the beauty of this business. And you know what? We really, really, really can have it all. And now I know that stuff like that does happen to people like us. So thank you very, very much.